what's happening in Africa and Tanzania. The problem in Africa is nothing but leadership, bad government, election theft, democracy theft. Why UN have not make it a case of consign the election in Africa's most African countries don't get a free and credible election. What are you people doing? Must they be genocide first? Must there be a protest leading to a revolution before you help? If you don't have a law that can hold this leader accountable for election theft, create a law. Create a law that will enable you monitor election, that will enable you we do an election. In Tanzania, 2,000 people were killed, and what the president can say is they are rebels or they are paid protesters. I don't know how that is possible. The military is only military in Africa. And you see the government will order military men to use live ammunition on armed protesters, and they will go ahead and carry the order. I'm still waiting to see it in USA. I'm still waiting to see it in Australia, in UK. I don't know if you don't respect life. The same thing happened during the time of Gaddafi. They told him to resign. They want democracy. They want the right to choose their own leader. He started killing protesters. And when the protesters started carrying weapons to fight back, he targeted them as rebels, resistance against his government. That is what is happening in Tanzania. In Tanzania, people now start carrying weapons to fight against the government. Now, government will call them rebels, trying to fight against his government, our government. But my problem is with UN. UN, must you wait in genocide before you help Africa and the world? UN, is this only about medication and aid, money aid? What of democracy that you taught us? By now, you guys ought to have a body that monitor democracy around the world. Not only in Africa, around the world. Because this democracy theft, election theft has been in Africa for a long time. And the UN, must you wait for the country to destroy themselves, to destroy their facilities? Must you wait for the country to commit genocide before you come and help? A country joining UN, is it only for food and medicine? What about the democracy? Democracy is the biggest problem in Africa, and we urge you guys to please help us to get a free and fair election in Africa. Help the people to be able to choose their leader. Not I know you are trying for the aid of food, medicine, but that is not the biggest problem in Africa. The biggest problem in Africa is to able to choose the leader. What happens if you have agencies that come into every country that have complained about the ringing of election, that have complained about democracy theft and election theft, and you come in to monitor them to make sure they have a good and credible election? What will happen? Will the world turn? And what will happen if you can monitor it and have a referendum in the country to hear what people think about the election? If they get what they deserve, if the major people in the country said, this election was rigged, and your agent said yes, this election was not credible, you should have the right to cancel that election and redo it yourself. Yes, you should try and make it part of UN to be able to cancel election and redo it yourself for the people. Once the people are complaining that this election was not credible, what they use our brain now?